Welcome to the Oh Brother Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith. Damn it.
Hey, Dan, how you doing up there?
I almost had
like the Brady Bunch.
Hey, Mike, how you doing down there, buddy?
On?
Now, see, I wonder, is it this way, though? I can never...
No, you were right.
I was right.
So we're talking to each other like
this is going to look totally ridiculous, yeah.
Hi, my name's Dorf.
All right, we're all over the place. We haven't been in 30 seconds. So welcome to the Oh Brother Podcast. This is the ultimate episode of our Halloween Fest because it is about what? A Halloween movie. In this case, it's the 12th. You know, you can come up with some of the iterations, but it's the 12th installment in the franchise, which is Halloween Kills. So we're going to get to that in a second. Before we do, for those of you that I can't even believe there are any, but for those of you that are not currently following us, make sure that you do. And the easiest way to find all things Oh Brother is to go out to our official website, which is OHB as in brother, podcast.com. That's OHB Clink. Can you get that, Mike? OHB as in brother, podcast.com. And you can get access to all of our social media. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our videos out there. And we're sporting the Halloween edition Oh Brother mug. This is it.
These go in the closet.
This is it. Yeah, it's October 29th, 2021 when you get this episode. And like I said, we're going to dive into a review of Halloween Kills here for you. But before we do that, I want to say I went to an event over the weekend, and I told you a little bit about this. And after the event was over, I went to get some ice cream at Stone Cold or Cold Stone. Stone Cold. It's Stone Cold.
Steve
I went in
Austin.
and the guy, I asked for, and he dropped me on my head. No.
And he gave you a beer afterwards.
He gave me the Cold Stone Stunner.
Slamming beers.
The Cold Stone Stunner. So I went into Cold Stone Creamery and a little free advertisement for Cold Stone. And they had, and I'll send this out on social media, but they had this thing called Boo Batter ice cream.
Oh, man.
And I sent you a picture.
Good. Yeah.
Right. It's like green ice cream.
Oh, my God.
There was
good.
Kit Kats and M&Ms and
every candy you could imagine.
There was orange cream Oreos in there. It was insane. And they have different sizes. And the biggest size is the Gotta Have It, it's called.
Right.
You know, it's like, I forget what the other three are. People listening that know Cold Stone will know, but I'm always like, gotta have it, you know?
Right.
And it's huge. So, of course, as I do and have done since I was a kid, and I blame mom, I devoured the ice cream in 5 minutes.
Gotta have it size?
Gotta have it size, yeah.
Wow.
In a cup, but I devoured it.
Right.
You know, the cone just gets in the way at that point. I kid you not. And I should have said I shit you not, because for the last 2 days, when I tell you that I've been shitting 4-leaf clovers and shamrocks. Speaking of Halloween, little season of the witch tribute in the men's room here at Oh Brother Studio.
Oh, that's disgusting.
As everybody switches off the show at this point.
I know. And somebody was like, I'm going to subscribe.
Right. You know, I've been hearing a lot about this. Oh, Lord.
Yeah, good heavens.
But it is, you know, that's a really sort of, and again, I thought it was appropriate for Halloween Fest because I was frightened. You know, you're doing your business and you don't expect to sort of see, you know.
Yeah, Cold Stone Creamery.
A couple days later, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was a good advertisement for Boo Batter ice cream.
Yeah, I know. People were on their way into Cold Stone. Let's go down to the yogurt shop.
Oh my God, so funny. All right, so anyway, so that was I just had to share that story up front. But so okay, let's get into Halloween Kills, which just came out on your birthday, actually.
Yeah,
we made a joke about that in a previous episode,
15th.
but came out on the 15th of October, and
it's doing good.
yeah. Is there anything that you want to say up front? Because I just wanted to sort of make an initial comment about it. But, do you, I mean, it's not something where you're going to set it up. I mean, I guess you could based
Yeah,
on
I
the
can set it up.
2018 version. Okay. Yeah. Give us a
Right.
synopsis then.
For those who know, obviously, if you're watching this, this is a trilogy that was started last year with David Gordon Green
And Danny
Blumhouse, Danny McBride, and David Gordon Green, like collaborators. They wrote it together with another guy, and it did unbelievably well.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, 2018, when it came out, it's just Halloween 2018.
Right.
That's made more money than all of the other Halloweens combined.
That is something.
Including zombies.
And I saw that in the theater. I was so pumped. And
yeah,
just the opening, when I saw that title sequence in the opening of the 2018, it was brilliant. The way they
and
put
this
the
one,
pumpkin back together.
Right.
Oh,
this one was
great.
interesting too, with a bunch of flaming pumpkins to open.
That's something I've always enjoyed about all of the films. There's always some variation on that title sequence that Carpenter established.
But this one literally starts right from the last second. Like literally, if you left the theater and came back in, it's like the movie kept going.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like one long movie.
So go ahead.
Go ahead. What were you?
No, I was just going to say, do you think you can sort of summarize
around it? Yeah. Well, it basically,
and then we can dive into it a little bit more in detail.
It basically opens. The three girls were in the back of the pickup truck. We saw that at the end of 2018.
Right. So hold on a sec. So you got Jamie Lee Curtis, of course.
Yes.
Is Laurie
Judy
Strode, Judy Greer, and Andi Matichak.
Yes.
Yeah. Who plays?
So they all return.
I think it's Allison's her name.
Yeah. They all return, and they're on their way to the hospital because Jamie Lee was stabbed pretty bad. And while they're on the way to the hospital, fire trucks are going in the other direction because the house, they put Michael in a cage, lit him on fire.
She threw the flare down there.
That's it.
Right.
Unfortunately, the firemen helped Michael out of the fire thinking he was a fireman, which was pretty creative considering other ways they've brought him back. And then I think Michael starts to do his thing. Right. I think that's a summary, basically.
Right. And then it sort of lives up to the title. So I loved 25 minutes of this film. And then, 20 minutes maybe. And then I tapped out. I was
really?
I was so, look, I'm the Halloween master. This is my franchise. You can't see it real well, but I've got behind me here.
Yeah.
You can see you can't tell, but I put this out on Instagram. We'll put it out again. This is every Halloween movie that exists, different iterations, etc.
Yeah.
And those awesome collector's cans of 4 and 5 with Danielle Harris at Horror Gal. If you're not following her already, you should be. But I thought, okay, so, and again, without really giving too much away, as you said, it starts off where the 2018 movie ended.
Yeah.
Right. And then a part of that, for those that saw the 2018 movie, which by now I would assume you have, is Will Patton, right? Who we talked about in Minari, a great actor, and he played Officer Hawkins.
Right.
So in another storyline in that film, he had been attacked by one of the worst characters,
the crazy doctor,
right? Who had the weird pen or whatever, and stabbed him in the neck, and he was sort of left to die, whatever. So they basically take his character and they start to do a flashback to 1978.
Right.
So all of a sudden we're transported from Will Patton in the 2018 film, Officer Hawkins, and we go back to 1978. That whole sequence was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. The way they recreated that, and just the concept of going back and like, hey, what was going on, in the periphery during what we did see in the original Halloween film. See, Emily's going to do an awesome cross dissolve there. So you don't realize we just had some major technical snafus. So, as I was saying, before I was so rudely interrupted, you got to love Wi-Fi. Now, you know what they didn't have in 1978 was Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I know.
And the world was a simpler place. But anyways, so that whole sequence of going back to 78 and following Officer Hawkins' character and confronting Michael Myers along with the other cops that were on scene at that point.
Right.
I just
like
thought
seeing, like you said it, seeing what was happening while we were somewhere else in the story.
That is just so brilliant.
Great idea.
Now, the recreation of Donald Pleasance was like nothing I've ever seen before. Now, this was
Tom Jones Jr.
This was some movie magic, but I bought every second of that. I think I maybe could have seen him in the entire movie and would have bought into it. It was that good.
Do you know it was a different voice?
That's right.
Yeah.
Do you know the name of the guy that did the voice?
Colin something. I don't know his last name. Colin.
Yeah.
But at first I'm like, was that maybe an outtake?
Yeah. Or did they splice together audio from 78 that they
Right.
It was that good.
Yeah.
It was that good. So everything about that just blew my mind.
That a lot of people are criticizing that, saying, "Oh, that's disrespectful to Donald Pleasance."
Come on.
But he lived for this. He's the one who kept this alive. Jamie Lee gets credit, but
well, it's not disrespectful to Michael Myers. How many times have they killed him and brought him back? Nobody's had any problem with that.
Yeah, I know. So
come on, give me a break.
And if he was like, if he could teleport, he would be like, I'm all in, let me sign.
That's right. Now let me tell you, this is a shock, but I didn't go to the theater to see this.
Right, which I was surprised.
I kept debating, and I'm like, I'm gonna be there. I even said it on the show. I'm gonna be there, and I'm glad I wasn't there, because after that, right, we cut to now current day, and as soon as Anthony Michael Hall, God love him, because Lord knows I loved him in the John Hughes films, but as soon as we get into that, it just it never recovered. The story was so thin and so silly, and Jamie Lee Curtis with some gratuitous, F-bombs, and my appreciation of the Halloween franchise ends tonight. My appreciation of Halloween ends tonight.
What?
It's a really bad reference to the film. Charles Cyphers.
Yeah. Too old to be in this.
Now, Emily, you can put a spoiler alert up here, but I don't need Charles Cyphers to say everyone deserves one good scare in a moment where it was just beyond silly. That's an insult to me as someone who's followed this franchise from almost day one.
But
I can't even believe that I'm hearing the possibility of you being okay with this film. That to me is a travesty, folks.
Well, no, I'm not. But
in fact, that envelope that's on your desk there might be returned to sender. We'll come back.
Can't we go through almost every movie and pick it apart and say, this is, 6 is almost unwatchable.
Not when you give me that. You can't lay it all in 20 minutes and then just take a dump on the rest of it. I'm sorry. You can't. Yeah, no, you're right. Of course. And matter of fact, you may have seen, I put this out on Instagram, but I was checking out the extras on this Halloween 5
good.
This 4K edition, which is it's such a great box. I love this packaging.
What about the picture of the 4K? Did you see how good that was?
It was great. And I saw what you said. You were telling me about the extras and how I love the brutal honesty of all of the cast. Like
they had no filter.
The man in black was ridiculous. Even Mustafa, God rest his soul, was like, we didn't know what we were doing. We had no idea.
Right.
We didn't know who he was.
His son was like, I don't know who.
Money grab.
Really dumb.
Yeah, right. It was
they were ragging on it.
Right.
I think they were really pointing the finger at Dominique, the director.
Yeah, Dominique Althinen Goddard or something, I think is his name. Well, actually, I'm looking right at it. I guess I could just say that. Yeah, Dominique Althinen Gerard.
Yeah.
So, but I was watching that, and what was my point about bringing that up? That bring me back to the whole.
Well, you were talking about how bad, and
right,
and then you were digging the extras, and
I don't know. I guess, like you said, you could go back and pick every one of them apart,
right.
But
like I always think back to our conversation we had, I think last year, where we talked about how we can find something redeeming in almost every, like H2O, but there was scenes in that were so good.
Who am I? Who am I? Like Anthony Michael Hall for the whole movie.
Okay. I thought you were going back to H2O.
I mean, good Lord, this is still the same kid from 16 Candles.
Yeah, that character was terrible.
And I wanted to like him so much.
Yeah.
I wanted to love that he played Tommy Doyle.
What was the thing he kept saying? Something ends tonight. Evil ends tonight.
Correct. That's why I made the joke about, Halloween, my love ends tonight.
Okay. Yeah, that got so stupid and overplayed.
And I was excited because now they also, when they went back to 78, they introduced this new character, Lonnie.
Correct. I was thinking he was the kid who fell on the pumpkin, but no, it was new.
But it was cool. It was a cool idea to create a new character back then and then bring him into I like that.
What about the three kids that were teasing him, the Mulvaney kids?
Wow, you talk about...
Were they freaky?
You talk about getting the weirdest kids in the neighborhood. Now, I'm not going to say by name, but up around the corner on the hill, the Mulvaneys might have lived around the corner from us. They were they were great. Whoever those actors were and actresses were, they did that
acting?
No, but they... of course that's casting, right? But we all knew a clan like that in our neighborhood. There was some
they were so creepy. They
were odd. They were odd. Yeah. But it worked. It worked because of the way they were terrorizing that kid,
Yeah. They were problem with.
Right.
Well, no, that was like the first thing that came up that was like, what the
Never
hell?
mind that. You know what you should have a problem with? Lenny Clark, hometown boy, Lenny Clark.
Where did they dig him up?
It wasn't that okay, I'm not going to crap all over Lenny. Cause I mean, for what it was, he did fine in his scene.
Right.
But it just was, I can't not see Lenny Clark and think, although he was great in the series Rescue Me with Dennis Leary. That was a great series. Yeah. But we know Lenny from his stand-up days in Boston, and
he's he's like a local character,
and you're never going to take him seriously, which wasn't the point. They were trying to infuse some humor, which I think we could also go to every single one of these and find some bit of humor in them, whether intended or not. Right?
Exactly.
Right. So it was fun to see a lot of the classic characters. Kylie Richards, right, who played Lindsay, right, from back in
the problem is they didn't do anything of substance with any of them.
No, they didn't. Now, what did
they brought back Brackett, Tommy Doyle,
but played by Anthony Michael Hall.
Lindsay. These are now adult,
right?
The nurse,
Marion, who looks amazing,
right?
But, looks amazing.
And like you were saying, Charles Cyphers, Brackett, but they didn't do anything of substance with any of them.
They did find new ways to kill people.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord. I mean,
there was
this is like a little bit of Carpenter and Rob Zombie mashed up.
Correct.
if you take the brutality. 'Cause
Correct. There was some really brutal stuff.
as I'm recounting it now in my head, I'm like, there was some really seriously intense stuff, that I was like, wow. Like I kind of did one of these, turn away my head a little bit every now and then because there was a couple that were intense.
There was a couple that came fast and furious. Like,
yeah, they did.
It was like boom, boom.
The brutality.
Yeah.
Which I'm one of those that appreciated it in the Rob Zombie films, especially the second one.
Right.
And it's not for just the gratuitous nature of it, but the size of Tyler Mane in those films. He's such an enormous guy that, of course, that is how it's going to be.
Now,
right?
we had 3 different Michael Myers this time. We had the original.
Give it up for Nick Castle.
Which
Shape,
I think.
The original Shape.
Yeah, I think he had a lot more scenes in this one than last one.
And on this Halloween 5 set, man, if you want to get some great interview clips from Don Shanks.
Yeah, Don Shanks.
Oh, so great.
And like I said, it's weird because Don Shanks took over from George Wilbur.
P. Wilbur, that's right.
And then George Wilbur took it back.
And George P. Wilbur technically was in 5 when they redid it. Yeah.
Because he says
starts
technically
off
I was in 4,
ended.
5, and 6. Yeah.
That's right.
But there was I'm surprised you didn't bring this up as a positive.
I'm sure just haven't gotten that. Oh, well,
anybody who's a fan of 3, there's a huge wink to you.
Which one are we talking about?
Part 3, Halloween Part 3.
Right. But which? The Mask?
Yeah. Well, when they're in the playground,
the pumpkin mask, right?
They had the 3 masks.
The 3. That's right.
All 3 of them.
That's right. That's right. That's a great. Easy on the copyright. The Shamrock song.
I don't think I was in tune anyway.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's right.
Did you didn't catch that?
No, I think subliminally I did, or subconsciously I did.
Maybe you were checked out.
No, I wasn't checked out. It was resonating with me, but in the moment I wasn't processing why.
Yeah.
But as soon as you said it, I'm like, yeah, of course. But yeah, it's probably that. And I was a little checked out at that point.
You know who else was checked out was Laurie Strode.
Yeah.
Was she in this movie?
Well, that's a good point. That's a good point.
If you nodded off or went to get a snack, you might have missed her whole performance.
Yeah. The story was so weak after that 78-bit in the beginning. And
they had such a great idea.
Such a great idea.
And then, at the end, when they were going through the house again, they recreated that house better than any sequel so far.
Right.
And I thought Zombie did a great job, but this was even better. I mean, you knew the closet, and then you turn the corner and there's a hallway. I just thought the house was, a character in itself.
Too many comedians in this, though, right? Like, okay, you got Lenny Clark. That's enough stand-up comedian for one horror flick. But then to throw Michael McDonald in there, which ironically we just talked about in our Many Saints of Newark episode. Remember we talked about that spoof on from Mad TV of The Sopranos? Yeah. And Michael McDonald, of course, was a longtime cast member on Mad TV.
Right.
But he plays this whole Big John, Little John.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure who he was.
These two guys that live in the house.
Yeah.
Michael Myers'
house. Yeah.
Wow. That just was such a, strange. Like,
I don't know why.
It just was over the
just
top.
Dumb.
It was over the top. So when I first watched it and it ended and I looked and I saw the ratings, which it looks like they pipe in on, because we saw this on Peacock, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
They pipe in the Rotten Tomatoes scores. You can see.
Oh yeah. What was it?
And it was literally like the critics were like, I don't know, 45, something like that. Audience was 100. I'm like, there's no way. And then eventually, like an hour later, it was like, 72%. So I'm looking at IMDb, the Metascore 42.
Yeah.
42.
Yeah.
And then I also have the Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Which is the critics, 39%, and the audience is still holding fairly tight at 71%, all things considered. Now, Myers himself, the mask, which is, of course, always something we look forward to, the reveal of the mask. How is it going to be slightly different, And
this was like major league.
It was really cool
because of the fire.
Right. And that whole scene of him getting out of the fire was awesome and taking on the fire department. All of that was great. It was the story that was terrible. It was terrible.
I mean, to me, they were focusing on
concept was good. Execution was horrible.
Yeah. They were focusing on kind of group think and group mentality, showing how I think, in the back of their heads when they were writing this, the riots were going on and the Black Lives Matter things were going on in Seattle. And so I think they were showing a little bit of how group mentality gets out of whack. This got way too out of whack.
No, and you're right. And that's very clear.
And there's another character that's horrible
from 2018.
No, from this one.
Who are you talking about?
The guy from the Psycho Ward.
No, he's in the 2018 film.
Oh, okay. I didn't know he was even in 2018.
Okay.
What was he one of the ones in the courtyard?
Now I could see them mistaking him for any other character maybe in the franchise, but for Michael Myers, no, which is what happens here. That was
especially the size.
Ridiculous. Right, exactly. That's
pathetic.
what I mean. That's what I mean.
That was pathetic.
Did you guys see the Rob Zombie version? Okay, he's like 6'9", but anyways, so that was silly, right? And that turned me off too. That was a whole arc they didn't even need. Why do I even need that plot line?
That's what the runtime was around 143, and I thought, if they trim this, they probably would have to trim a lot, but there was maybe, I don't know, a 70-minute movie in there, maybe.
You're being really
think about
generous.
Think about it. This was delayed for a whole year. They had a whole year to edit this more. And they didn't take out some of that really garbagey stuff.
I'm not sure you could have. I don't know how you could have fixed this. And there were even some of the supporting cast that I thought were good. And the African-American couple who actually were in the 2018 version as well. We see them in the first film.
See, did you just watch that recently?
No, I'm the Halloween master,
memory.
Man. That's my jam.
I know.
I've seen it 1,000 times, but they were good. They played those characters well, and they had the ingredients.
Where were they in that movie?
Remember in one of your favorite scenes when Myers approaches that one house, and it's like a tribute to Carpenter. It's almost like one single shot,
POV shot.
He goes, he's walking, and then he enters the house, and the woman looks out the bay window, and then you see him come behind her. They're like leaving their house to go to a Halloween party. And that's where they
tried to get anyone and everyone,
because that's the garb they were wearing when they left that. Because remember, this is picking up
the same night,
the
right?
Same one.
Just like Halloween and Halloween 2.
Right. But
it's a continuation.
Anthony Michael Hall was, I was really let down by that. And then Charles Cyphers, you could tell he was just crowbarred in there.
Right.
And it didn't work. And I can't believe I'm saying that about Sheriff Brackett, but
I know.
Let's take a quick, detour for 1 second.
Yeah.
Because
what do you got?
Mike is not, as has been established on the show many times before, not a sentimental guy in any shape or form.
Well,
you like how I said shape is a little reference to the episode. And for those of you that have been followers of the show, you know that Mike regifted this unbelievable. Well, you gave it to me.
I did.
And as a collector of media, I just thought that, but anyways, I was glad to receive it. And this is a signed Michael Myers Funko Pop from none other than who?
Danielle Harris,
who is the star of Halloween 4 and 5.
And she was also in the zombie.
And she was also in the
films.
zombie films. And she just put out on her Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
should Jamie return in Halloween Ends to end it all? And I said, hell yes. That would be an awesome, not only a redemption for her, the way that she was kind of.
I'm surprised they didn't bring her back.
Right.
Given they brought back everyone.
Maybe they have the long game in view. I don't know. Because that would be impressive. But there's some great footage of her in this, both current and then from on set, and just
you know what
this.
I noticed
Halloween
with the
5
extras.
Yeah,
the box set that came out with the 15 discs, which I have, but I kind of split it up differently.
Mm-hmm.
I put it in different boxes, and what they did, there was one bonus disc at the end that had bonus stuff from every movie. So that stuff on 5, like I thought some of this stuff was new. And then I'm like, no, I think I've seen this. So I went back, and sure enough, that bonus disc from the 15 pack set, if you have that, that's what, but they have added stuff too. There's new commentaries.
And I haven't even got into the commentaries on this Halloween 5 set.
Oh, wow.
And this is I almost literally, I think there's an interview with every single cast member.
Yes.
In this film.
They got everyone.
And
it's like, it's not.
Except
like
Donald.
It's not
Donald
old.
Pleasance. Yeah.
Right. It's not old. It's current.
That's something I don't see. And I haven't really gone looking lately, but have you seen any footage of him in interviews talking at length about his performances in the Halloween franchise? Donald Pleasance.
I've seen some stuff. In that 15 disc stuff, there are some interviews and stuff with him.
Yeah.
So I do have some bonus materials.
Well, like I said, my take on this is they just did a masterful job of recreating 78, but with like a new storyline that followed Will Patton's character. And then from there, and maybe that was part of it, because I was so pumped and so invested and on board.
Yeah.
And then they just failed to deliver after that.
And they're going to revisit that, because one of the things people were saying at the end was, there's always been this thing, is Michael Myers a man? Is he, does he have some kind of mystical? Yeah, exactly. And this one kind of fed that a little bit. And David Gordon Green in an interview said, although, Laurie Strode was kind of saying that in the hospital, he's evolved to something more, whatever she was babbling.
Right.
But I think, they're going to come back to it. Now, Halloween Ends is not going to be the end, by the way. We know that, right?
I certainly hope that's true.
Because Mustafa, purposely has it that Michael Myers can never die.
Yeah. And Malik is going to see that through.
How are they going to handle Halloween Ends? Now, there's a time jump coming. Did you know that? Halloween Ends is going to start 4 years later, which is interesting. That right off the bat has me curious about the next
if I was David Gordon Green and Danny McBride, I would want to distance myself from Halloween Kills.
Well, he's still directing it,
which is fine. And look, I don't have a problem with the directing. It's the writing. It's the story here. They
did bring in a different writer, a new writer.
They put in all their energy into that 78 section.
I agree.
And then they just went to sleep on us. And
but
you can't do that.
I can say that about some of the other movies too, but I have an appreciation for them but the good stuff.
Think about what that opening sequence means for a diehard, hardcore Halloween fan like me. You cannot put it up on the mantle like that and not deliver all the way through.
Yeah.
You are setting the table, man, and you've got to give me the full course meal.
I totally agree with that. I think this went downhill, it ended terribly. It just in the setup was so good.
So good. Good.
Like the first 20 minutes, you were like, bring it, baby. I had heard that there was a lot of brutality,
I was pumped.
and I thought that was going to be too much.
And there was a lot
And
of
there
brutality.
was,
There was a lot of brutality.
based on the last one and how they handled it, although there was definitely brutality in the last one.
No, this was worse.
They gave Zombie a run for his money.
They definitely did.
That African-American couple, she got, I mean, that's a new way to get it, to die.
Yeah. They definitely came up with new ways to kill. But so I don't know. I'm a little split. I would say, check it out on Peacock. Going to the theater and laying down your money to see it. I don't know. I mean, it's
you
Halloween,
probably feel better about it.
And I'll be honest with you, I might actually still do that after this critique I just gave. I may, I've seen every single Halloween in the big screen, other than the original 78. I wasn't old enough to be seeing that at the time, but so to have that opportunity and not take it, probably wouldn't be right for me. So it's mixed.
And it did 50 million for the weekend, which I think surprised everyone.
Well, didn't it take over Bond in the U.S. domestic box office? I read.
Well, for that week, because
but still
Bond is not performing well domestically.
Yeah. So I don't know which is it.
Even hit 100 million.
It kills, die. Someone's going down. Between those two films.
Yeah, No Time to Die.
No Time to Kill. No Time.
Yeah, you could kill this one.
Halloween's got No Time to Die.
But I think, I don't know. Maybe as we revisit this, when they conclude it, maybe this one won't look as bad. I don't know.
Yeah,
but I agree with you.
But listen,
I agree with every point.
This is one just like our Boston sports. I'm on board. I'm never jumping off the wagon.
See, that's what I thought you were saying, that you were done.
No, I was just using that for comedic effect. But all right, so we got to wrap this up.
Yeah, okay.
But it just shows like this. You can't, right? You got to bring the goods when you're doing not only Halloween Fest, but when you're talking about the centerpiece of Oh Brother Halloween Fest, which is Halloween itself.
Right.
So do you have a movie pick?
I do. And I went, since Halloween's coming to an end.
Yeah.
And I've been going through the new Halloween 4Ks, and I've been Halloweened out. So I decided to go last night. I decided I'm going to watch something not Halloween. Mm-hmm. And I picked up this movie, which I don't know if you've ever seen it. Probably not. Do you recognize it?
I don't. But no.
It's Anatomy of a Murder. Yeah, this is the Criterion. It's Anatomy with Jimmy Stewart, directed by Otto Preminger.
Okay,
who was Mr. Freeze and Batman, but he was a director, director actor. But you don't have to get the Criterion. But there's also a 4K version that I have. I watched the 4K and then the Criterion extras. It's fantastic. It's film noir with jazz. Duke Ellington actually does a cameo in the movie. It's almost 3 hours long.
What year are we talking?
Oh, that's a good question. 1959.
Anatomy of a Murder. Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
this is a good, unique pick.
And it, like I said, it's 2 hours, 43 minutes. It flies. Jimmy Stewart, perfect. Who else? Lee Remick.
Oh yeah,
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Man, she's gorgeous. Yeah. Who else? Ben Gazzara was like 28 years old.
Is he dead? Is he not dead? Remember that whole controversy?
That's right. And
he's in Roadhouse, folks.
Patton. George C. Scott. I couldn't think of his name.
Yeah,
he's
Dr.
in it
Strangelove.
Too. He's an opposing attorney to Jimmy Stewart. So just think of that.
That sounds good. Yeah, I've never seen that. I love it. It was a great pick. Great pick. So my pick this week is actually on your desk right there. So
I got
now this is
mysterious package.
Yeah. Now Mike's holding up a package here. He doesn't know what's in it. He doesn't know what's about to be revealed, but I thought this was worth saving for the Oh Brother podcast. Now, this is a film that has a lot of twists. Yeah, hold on. Has a lot of twists. Mm-hmm. And, it wouldn't be put in the horror category, certainly. But there's it's unique, to say the least, and it can be brutal at times. And it is at times a dark film. So having said that, tear that sucker open.
All right.
And let's give the listeners and those of you watching on YouTube.
Here
This is also a belated birthday gift that Mike is opening
the
here.
Package, and I'm revealing it.
Now, this is a movie that we love
I
here.
have.
We love this, but you don't have this one. Because if you look at the cover of that Blu-ray disc,
oh man,
Mike is now recognizing that he has in his hand, folks, a signed copy of the movie Fat Man by the directors Ian and Esham Nelms, producer Michelle Lang, and of course, friend of the show, cinematographer, director of photography, Johnny
That's
Durango.
Fantastic.
Hold that up to the camera.
That's fantastic.
Look at,
and it says to Mike.
Dude, for a physical media
that's
connoisseur,
great.
That's
fantastic.
So as you know, that this film, you remember when we first reviewed this film, we were like, holy F, what did we just see? Right. So this has a shock value of its own. This is my video pick. It's no secret to those of you that follow us, but for those of you that have not seen Fat Man yet, you've got to rush out, pick that film up, and check that out.
And I wrote, there's a blog I wrote about mostly the brothers, but it's really about the whole crew that we call the Nelms Cinematic Universe.
That's right.
These guys are going to be on stage getting gold one of these days,
no doubt.
And I called it. It might be next year, it might be 5 years from now, but they are going to be on stage with Johnny, Michelle, the whole crew.
Now, I don't know if it waters down the sentimentality or the value of that particular gift. I may or may not have something that looks just like that in my next room that says to Dan. Possibly that I might have.
I was going to say, for somebody who re-gifts stuff.
This has been in the works for like weeks and weeks and weeks. I mean, there's you think about this. This sucker went to, first of all, it got purchased on Amazon. It went to LA. It came back to me. Like, this was a whole ordeal. But I knew that for a guy that's hard to buy for, but the physical media OG, I thought, what better to have in your collection than a signed copy of
that's
that film?
fantastic.
So
you got to, thank you guys. Thank you to the Nelms and Michelle and Johnny. That's fantastic.
And I also want, so a huge thanks to Johnny, who was my co-conspirator in this whole thing. So
thank you, man.
All credit goes to him. And if you're, make sure that you can follow all of them actually on Instagram
I do,
as well.
Obviously,
Johnny _ Durango, and Emily will put all this information up on the screen here somewhere. But
make sure you're following those guys.
Make sure you're following and supporting them.
I can't wait to see their next. We have no idea what's coming. I can't wait to see their next film.
Can't wait. Yeah. But it seemed appropriate. And it's a good way to sort of wind down this Halloween Fest, the ultimate Halloween edition of the Oh Brother podcast. For those of you, again, not currently following us, make sure that you go out to our official website, which is ohbasandbrotherpodcast.com. That's ohbpodcast.com. And again,
last time,
this sweet Halloween edition Oh Brother mug that we're sporting here for those of you watching on YouTube. And but you can get access to all Oh Brother goings on there, and make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and like our videos out there. We would appreciate if you do that. You can check out the Oh Brother shop, and the weather is starting to turn, so you're going to need those Oh Brother socks pretty soon to keep you warm. But that's going to do it for another episode of the Oh Brother podcast. Been your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith, and we will see you next time.
Michael! That's my tribute to Donald Pleasance.
God. We love you, Donald.
We'll see you next time, everyone.